You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the February 8th meeting of the Michigan City Police Civil Service Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start the meeting off, as always, saying the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everybody will rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's 2 or 3 members here, so we have a quorum. Commissioner Kraus here. Commissioner Simmons is absent. Commissioner Maskey is present. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of last meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, before we start the meeting, I think the administration would like to hand out some awards, so we'll go ahead and do that first. I'll turn the floor over to Chief Corby and Chief Cooney.
So our first is a letter of commendation of Corporal Aaron Bass. Can you please come up? Corporal Aaron Bass is on the 9th day of January 2023, subject of a letter of commendation for outstanding service as follows. On the 9th day of January 2023 at 19:49 hours, dispatch alert officer to a robbery that had just occurred at the Lucky Stop gas station located at 1912 Franklin Street, Michigan City, Indiana, 46360. Captain Andy Heineck with the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office was in the area and responded to the gas station to assist Michigan City officers. While there, Captain Heineck advised officers via radio that the suspect's vehicle was a black colored SUV, no license plate, fixed to the rear of the vehicle. It was last seen driving east on Fulton Street. The suspect was described as an unknown white male who wore a scarf around his face during the robbery. Corporal Aaron Bass quickly converged to the area in an attempt to locate the suspect. While he was traveling south on Tilden Avenue, he observed a black colored SUV traveling east on Decatur Street. Corporal Bass quickly caught up to the vehicle at the intersection of Tilden Avenue and Greenwood Avenue. He did not see a license plate affixed to that vehicle. He followed the vehicle as it turned west on Greenwood Avenue and then north on Elm Street. Corporal Bass activated his emergency lights to his vehicle and initiated a traffic stop while advising other officers responding to the gas station of his actions. The driver of that vehicle drove at a very slow speed for approximately 200 feet before stopping in the 1000 block of Elm Street. During the traffic stop, Corporal Bass identified and spoke with the suspect, Sean Shirley. It was determined that he had an active FTA warrant and that the vehicle he was driving was reported stolen through our department. It was also quickly learned that Mr. Shirley was indeed who robbed the Lucky Stop gas station. As video footage revealed, the clothes he wore in the robbery was what he was wearing at the time of the traffic stop. Also evidence at the gas station, such as a cigarette the suspect had during the robbery, was also the same cigarette brand that was located in the vehicle that Mr. Shirley was stopped in. In addition, located in plain view of the flat backseat floorboards was a small pile of $1 bills. This also consistent of what was taken during the robbery. Mr. Shirley was arrested for robbery level 5, theft of motor vehicle level 6, and an active FTA warrant. Lieutenant Ashley explained the actions of Corporal Aaron Bass did not go unnoticed. His leadership on shift 2, not only as one of the supervisors, but as a mentor, deserved to be especially recognized because of this incident. She stated he leads by example as he was quick to make his way to the area of the robbery with the intent to locate the suspect. In a volatile, heart-racing situation where robbery just occurred and not knowing the mentality of the suspect when he was engaged, Corporal Bass was in control and acted with professionalism. On this day, Corporal Bass safely effected the arrest of Sean Shirley and removed from the streets a man who put the workers at Lucky Stop gas station in fear while he robbed the business. Corporal Aaron Bass, your actions during this incident were recognized by the command staff and are in keeping with the highest standards of the Michigan City Police Department. It gives me great pleasure to present you with this letter of commendation. So our department photographer is not there, so
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. And then also I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Ashley, who is in the crowd, and she recommended this letter of commendation for Coral Bass. Thank you, Lieutenant Ashley. Also, we did have another letter of commendation for Lieutenant Anna Painter, but today she, for her duty, she was taken out of town, so she was unable to be here. But I do think that we should give her a round of applause and recognize Lieutenant.
We apologize that Chief Porter can't be here. He's having some health issues and some family issues, so we want to say a prayer for him later. But we'd like to do our nominations for the Chris Smith Award for 2022. If we have Renee come up, if you don't mind. Renee Smith is Chris's wife. Before we get to the recipient, we do want to say that the nominations come in from our command staff, our officers as well, for the Chris Smith Award. The nominations this year were Officer Todd Plisky, Officer Zonda Chavez, Officer Deshaun Harris, Corporal Melissa Sofer, Lieutenant Mike King, Lieutenant Jeff Ramian, and also Officer Nick Charo. We would like to recognize Officer Nick Charo as the recipient of the 2022 Chris Smith Award. Before we get to the award, I'll read what Chief Walker wrote for to nominate or notify everyone on the department. The 2022 recipient of the Chris Smith Award is Officer Nick Charo. As we all have encountered Officer Charo and the uplifting spirit he continually brings to work each and every day, his dedication and professionalism he displays when interacting with the public is second to none. He treats and gives every person he encounters the utmost respect, attention they deserve. Officer Charo leads by example. He continually represents MCPD at various events, volunteering his time at the Salvation Army, Shop with Our Cops, Cops and Bowlers, the Family Advocate Wiffle Ball Game, and many other events. Again, he wanted to recognize Officer Charo at today's meeting. We have the presentations.
Yep. So, Officer Nicholas Charo is the 2022 recipient of the Officer Chris Smith Award, presented by Chief Stephen Forker. Officer Chris Smith was an officer with the Michigan City Police Department from September 5th, 2006 until his death from cancer on December 28th, 2007. At the age of 25, Officer Chris Smith embodied a fresh spirit, love, and dedication to the profession of law enforcement. Officer Smith has penned the following in the thank you card to the then Chief of Police, Ben Knightel, just months prior to his passing from a courageous battle with cancer. It is not often dreams come true, but I work with perseverance until I achieve mine. I will work equally as hard to keep it. This award is given annually to an officer who demonstrates the spirit, love, and dedication to the profession of law enforcement, as was displayed by Officer Chris Smith and is proudly given in his memory. It gives me great honor to present Officer Nicholas Charo as a 2022 recipient of the Officer Chris Smith Award. Officer Charo, your dedication and love to this profession personifies the spirit of all law enforcement officers and are in keeping with the highest standards of the Michigan City Police Department. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. You guys want to turn it? I know you guys probably want. His family's out here, so I know you. So we're going to want to say that, but thank you. So before we end, I would just like to say, since Chief Ford is not here, I know he will have some words to say, but in his absence, I will make sure that we do give our respect and honor to these officers who received the Chris Smith Award, and then also our letters of commendation. Many times you see us out there, you see us doing the job, we come home to you all, but sometimes it's these instances that we are able to celebrate the accomplishments and really respect and honor and and gracious for what our officers are doing on a daily basis. These awards are given once in a while, but these men and women are doing this daily, and sometimes some of the things that they do are not awarded or not put out in the public, but they do it without the expectations of awards. But I think it's good that we do award them and we do recognize them. I appreciate the supervisors and commanders who will take time out to write these letters to get up to the administration so that these officers can be recognized, because again, the work that they do is irreplaceable, and sometimes we can't put a value on them. So again, congratulations to Officer Charo, Corporal Bass, and Lieutenant Anna Painter. And again, thank you to Lieutenant Ashley and Captain Urbanski for the time that they put together, putting the letters together, and then also to Sergeant Oberly, who nominated Officer Charo. And I mean, I could be up here all day talking, but when you look at Corporal Bass, who has come from being a patrolman to a supervisor and who embodies what it means to be a professional, but not just a professional for yourself, a professional for his whole department. The time and care he has taken to mold himself into that supervisor, to be a mentor, to guide officers is just, you can't put a value on it. When you look at Lieutenant Anna Painter, who has basically taken investigations and things into another level of not just for herself, but for this whole department, it's the community. Again, invaluable. And then we look at Nick Charo. What I love about Nick Charo is, it's like, I see myself because what Nick has, and not saying anything from else, but just from knowing his family, he has that family support. His mom and dad, if Nick is doing something, mom, dad, sister, they're at it. If I'm doing something, my mom is usually at it. Sometimes I try to keep her at home, but sometimes I do it at home, but she's usually there. And so, those things are invaluable. You can't put a value on those things. You can't supplement those things. And so I think it's important that we recognize what each and every officer brings to the table. But also, I would like to congratulate and thank their families and wives and support systems for also bringing something to the table. Thank you.
So under old business for applicants in process, on January 21st, we had I'll call it a hiring day. We did testing for applicants. After that testing was done, we do the physical fitness test. We did the background investigators met with the applicants that they were going to be assigned to. There were some interviews done that day. I think, 12 that passed through? Yeah. And of those 12, we've gotten back 2 background investigations. It doesn't appear that those 2 will be moving forward in this process right now. So with that said, and the number of openings that we have, I guess we're going to have another hiring day on March the 18th. Which will be Saturday, so any of the general public who's out there that may watch these programs and who may be interested in joining this department, we urge you to come out and apply and put your application in, and we'll reach out to you and set you up to be here that day. Do you have anything I would like to thank the administration. That was probably the most well-run, even though it was a kind of a trial thing. This is the most well-run process that we did that day. There was plenty of help. We had it planned out, kinda. it was a trial run, but I think it went very well, and I'm hoping the rest of them go that way. We're trying to expedite the process without jeopardizing the integrity of the process, and I'm looking forward to getting back those background investigations so we can move forward from there, because there's not many steps after that before you get them going. So again, that'll be March 18th. Corporal Costigan, do you have any probationary officer reports?
Yes, I do. Officers Jackson Lodeman, Anthony Brown, and Noah Smith continue to be successful patrolling on their own. They will end their probationary year on the 21st of this month, so they're all doing well. And then the 7 are the Academy probationary officers: Ashley Boots, Brandon Costigan, Catherine Boborowski, Trevor Linover, Donnell Sales, Anthony Santoro, and Taylor Tillman have all all successfully completed their 4th week at the academy. They just had their first comprehensive test and all of them passed, so they're all doing well. That's all I have.
I believe we have any new correspondences, and we have to ask Commissioner Simmons about claims to be paid, because I think we had one outstanding of the last meeting that she was going to take care of with the company that did the testing for our promotional exam. So I'm not sure on that. I apologize, but she's not here, so I can't ask her. Chief Worker's not here, so we'll move to Chief Corley if he has anything to say.
So you guys, I think, talked about the testing process and what we had with as far as our applicants. March 18th is going to be our next application process. I don't know if Chief Cooney say anything, but I think that the process that we did, the one-day process of getting everything expedited, went pretty decent for, being our first time and not knowing what to expect, but I think we, ran pretty smooth. Give you some updates on what's going on here. We will be attending job fair February 18th at IUSB, Indiana University South Bend. They have a criminal justice job fair on the 8th, I said 18th? I think the 16th, I'm sorry. The 16th in South Bend. So we will be sending some of our members from our recruitment and retainment team there to recruit applicants at that process. Flock camera system is up and running. Out of the 30 cameras, we have about 12 to 15, I think, in the ground or in the process of being completed. I know for sure we have 12 completed. There's about 3 or 4 out there that they had to move around some things. We have to adjust where we're going to put them at. But our majority of our department is trained in it or are getting trained in it. We have a group of administrators who have administrative responsibilities for the system that is trained, and then we have a next tier of trainers that have been trained, and now those folks are going out and training our officers to use the Flock camera system. The gunshot detection portion of it will be arriving here in the spring. They're actually talking to our planning department now about the different poles we'll have to use to put it on. So the hopes are that those will be up around, I want to say, end of March, somewhere in April, possibly, for that. Our new body-worn, utility incorporated in-car cameras and body cameras, we're starting to, they were supposed to be implemented in this month, but due to in-service training, we had to push it back. So we won't actually get the implementation out until April, but we're starting to get equipment modified. We actually got a shipment of some stuff in today that we weren't expecting, so we had to scramble to put that somewhere, but that stuff is all coming in, and you will see the new Dodge Chargers and Durangos with the new logos out in the community too now. We are getting close to getting the majority of those out on the street too. I think that's it.
I'd like to mention the backpack giveaway that you did.
Oh yeah, thank you. Should have had it wrote down. One of these days I'll give you a coach, so Chief Coach. Yeah, we did. We worked with Franciscan Health with their outreach coordinator, Nyla Williams, and did backpack bundles. And we took donations from the community of socks, hats, scarves, and gloves. And we got one backpack, but we also got a large community donation from a person that just wanted me to identify him as a big community supporter of the police, that allowed us to buy backpacks and put a logo on them so they can be identified, and then stuff the items in there. We wrapped up our donations, I think January 15th, and about a week or 2 weeks ago, in January, we were able to put everything together in backpacks and get it out to Keys of Hope, Stepping Stone, Interfaith Pads, and Sandcastle. And then we also have a bundle, we have a box full of them down in the roll call room for officers to also take out and hand out as they're out and about on patrol. So we were able to do 100 backpacks. And then prior to that, we also gave out additional, thanks to Anthem, they have these they have the bundles where it has a blanket, a hat, and gloves in it. So we're able to give out additional about 40 of those also too. So,
Which officer came up with this program?
and so the last 2 or 3 years, myself and Nyla Williams had always done the blankets. And Officer Chris Alexander actually sent the email interested in doing it, and sent the email with the suggestions of doing the hats, the gloves, and the scarves. So again, like Officer Charo, Officer Alexander's family came and helped out with the stuffing of the items. And then also when we got the donations in there, kind of like it's all thrown in one bin. His family actually came and they actually organized the bins by hats, gloves, so forth, and made it easier for our process when we started packing them together. So we got those out in the community, and I mean, it's great. I commend Officer Alexander for his idea and also for stepping up and actually taking ownership in the program and being there to make sure it goes smooth.
Chief Cooney?
Just a couple notes. I again agree with the applicant testing process. I think it went very well for the 1 day kind of kickstart for the speed that we can hopefully get through a hiring process. We'll have everything ready for the March 18th process. There were a couple people who couldn't pass like the physical part, who passed our written test. They were given the information on what to do to come back, since it'll be about 6 weeks, almost 2 months. Hopefully they are working out, training, doing the proper things to pass, like the push-ups or the sit-ups, run, whatever they need. Just because you don't make it, through one process, you're more than welcome to reapply. So just keep that in mind. Again, Chief Forker not being here, he had set up the retainment recruitment team, which is comprised of a wide variety of Michigan City Police officers and supervisors. We had a meeting yesterday. Like Chief Corley said, we are planning on having participants at the Indiana University South Bend Criminal Justice Career Fair, which again is February 16th. That'd be very good for us to get our name out there, and if students are ready, want to ask questions about our department, we'll have people there ready to answer that. I will be attending on February 15th. They have a summit for the Indiana Chiefs of Police organization down in Indy for basically recruitment and retainment. They go over what's working, what's not, how to manage like millennials and Gen Z applicants and what they're learning, and what even some FBI advisory on what they're learning from statistics. So I'll be down to go to that, to bring that information back to hopefully, again, help with retainment and recruitment. Just a few statistics from January for calls for service. We had 3,227 calls for service for January. Of that, we had 540 were for community policing, which is very good. Our new supervisors, Captain Jesse's been on base for a while, but Lieutenant Ashley and Lieutenant Mike King stepped in their roles and are really pushing that we do more with the community and more checking businesses and just speaking with people in general, and that's going really well. And then of those calls, we had 98 animal control calls as well, which takes some time from us in the animal control division. Case reports, we had 437 case reports taken. We had 205 arrests, of which 23 were juveniles and 182 were adults. We have already taken applications for 2 new canine positions that we're hoping to get going. We're going to have interviews with the applicants from the police department here soon. We're hoping to have 2 more new dogs, which would get us to 4 canines for our department, which I think gets us in line with other surrounding agencies. Prosecutor Fagan purchased a drone for the patrol division for us to utilize for missing persons, people that run from us, some crime scene analysis we can even use with the drone. And then he's still pending another drone purchase from a grant with Duneland Health. We should know in the next week or two. This drone is about $25,000. It's a larger one, but it can process and reconstruct crashes, crime, or investigations, as well as crime scenes on a wide area, plus do all the other things that the smaller drone does. So those are important for the department. And again, I want to wish, say some prayers for the Santana family. Jeff Santana, unfortunately, passed away. He was a longtime fireman with the city of Michigan City, as well as a councilman. Was it county councilman? If you want to say some prayers for him as well. That's all I have.
So do we have an official retirement date for Captain Lineski?
He is off the books on March 3rd.
March 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. So sometime in March, pending if we get we haven't gotten all the past performances back yet.
Okay.
So we need to, if we can push that, so we can try to maybe make promotions next, at the next meeting on March the 8th.
I believe the Board of Captains or Commanders are about to meet, and they'll have those for you real shortly.
Okay.
If they haven't done already, it was there.
They met. We'll get those. You probably get those in the next, I would say, probably week or so.
You said that the officers saw.
Officer signed.
Okay. Do you have anything from the Division of Professional Standards, Corporal Costigan, other than the reports? No. Okay. I don't have anything to say, Bruce.
I just congratulate the award winners, I guess is the best way to put it. Officer Charo and Corporal Bass. It's always nice to, get a little pat on the back for doing your job above and beyond. Wish you'd have given them a star for that catching that robber, but that's up to you folks. Just one thing with Officer Charo, myself, and Commissioner Maskey each worked with Officer Smith the short time he was on this department. He's a fine young man. He did the best he could fighting that cancer. So I'm glad they finally came up, or not finally, but they give an award each year, and that's to draw an analogy in sports, which is what I usually do. It's to me, it's similar to, for example, a Walter Payton Award in NFL, though not on that level. It's you work with the community, you go above and beyond your job, and not a lot of us do that. Me personally, I'd have never done stuff like that, and I still won't do stuff like that. It's just not in my personality, but the folks who do, it's really something, and it's nice to see, along with what Chief Corley does and Officer Alexander, and people have their family come in and help. That's also a plus. Hopefully, Councilman Simmons stated that they talked about the lit tax the other day, and as per usual, I didn't watch the council meeting. I don't know why, but I didn't. Maybe I'll catch up on it in the paper, but hopefully they're addressing that, as I'm sure they are, in the appropriate manner. And just a shout out, pat on the back to all the men and women of the department who still continue to do a great job for this community. And most of the officers on this department, and that's through the training, they treat the people in this community with respect and dignity, despite what some of these clowns in this community will say. Sometimes you get treated the way you treat other people, and that always is a good thing. Enough said.
Is there any public comment? Okay. Councilman Simmons, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate Lieutenant Painter, Corporal Bass, and Officer Charles on their awards. I concur with everything that Chief Corley says about Corporal Bass. I've known him since I was working in a casino. He worked for me on the weekends, and he's a true professional.
He's a very interesting guy. I remember when he first got on, he rode with me. The first time he got in a car was with me, and I learned a lot about him. Funny thing is, when he came back here from overseas, when he got out of the service, and he was married for a short time overseas in the Philippines, he came back here penniless. He lived at a fishing resort in northern Minnesota. They allowed him to stay there for free in a tent on the property. That's it. He took a bath every day in the lake and slept out there for like 9 months in a tent while he was working to save enough money so he could get back up on his feet.
Awesome.
So yeah, he started from humble beginnings here, and I know he's appreciative of being here. All right. So nothing else. We'll adjourn the meeting again. Our next meeting will be March 8th, and we'd like to get out some promotions at that time, hopefully. So we'll schedule that with the administration and do that if that's feasible. And then again, we do have that the hiring, the testing on March 18th. So we urge anybody watching that wants to be a part of this department to come out and apply, and we'll see you that day. And we'll see everybody else March 8th. Thank you.